There you go.
Hasn't turned yet. All right, let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody out here tonight. I've asked Councilman Brown to lead us in our prayer and pledge, so if you'd please stand.
Bow our heads. Gracious Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for all that you've given us. Father, we ask that you be with each one of us as we represent the city. Father, give us clear thinking. Father, be with our country right now and give our leaders clear thinking as well. Be with all those that are in harm's way. Father, we ask that you in all these things in your name. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, if we could have the roll call, please.
Lamar,
Here.
Shropshire,
Here.
Bradshaw, here. Rashiers,
Here.
Brown, Trammell,
Here.
Brown,
Here.
Smith.
Here.
All right, we're going to go through our department head reports tonight, and then we're going to jump around. We've got a couple presentations that we'd like to not have to stay all night. So in respect to that, we'll jump to them, and then we'll go back to follow the order from there. Let's start with our building inspector report. Again, I've got that here. 90 paid inspections for Craig, did an additional 17 with contractors, with MUB included in that. Rest is as usual. I'm not going to read it. It's redundant. Emergency management.
Well, I don't have a lot. I just want to let you know that we got everything ready for storm season this year. All the sirens are working as we speak right now. Those things are kind of complicated because it just never fails. They get hit by lightning. You know, they're just up on a tall pole, metal. It just happens. But anyway, right now they're all working, so we should be good. And I want to remind everybody, if you had Code Red before, and you haven't signed up for HyperReach, you have to sign up for HyperReach. I know it's a pain to have to go back and do that again, but there's no other way around it. You won't get the warnings if you don't go on the website and sign up for it. Any questions?
No, Hannah, do we have that linked on our website?
I'll make sure.
But I'll look before I come up here, and I didn't see it now.
We'll get that linked on our city website by the end of the week so that everybody can just go to the pryorcreek.org, and it'll be on there. All right, fire. Chief Young?
We're just excited. We're getting some moisture, so we got nothing but good things or happy things to be thinking about because we're supposed to be getting some more. That little bit we got sure enough helped. So we're excited about that. Y'all have anything for me?
No, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Golf. Dennis? No Dennis tonight. All right, awesome. Library, Carrie.
I sent you guys my fancy bookshelf of numbers. Some of the numbers are ish numbers. We don't have quite all of February input in our spreadsheets yet, so there's a pretty good chance that those are a little bit low. They're accurate enough that I don't mind showing them to you. We had 98 new accounts. We answered almost 6,000 questions. All of our checkouts combined were over 5,000. Our door count was 183 per day, which is pretty neat. We added 190 items to our physical collection in February, which is way better than the 23 that we did in February. And then March, all of the books that we have ordered are coming. So that's going to be an adventure. The other things to note, the Pryor Library has been invited to a national conference in Phoenix in April. It's put on by the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which is the federal part of the government that basically they give grants to libraries and museums. And it's for the, I got to read it because I won't get it all right. It is the IMLS Library Convening 250, Telling America's Story. So it's basically a conference to get ideas and information about presenting programming for the 250th birthday of the United States. And they're paying for just about everything, which is pretty fantastic. So I can't go, but we're sending one of my staff who will be fantastic and a great representative, and I'm excited. Oh, and also if you are bored on a Thursday, there's something happening at the library. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
But that's very like baiting almost, right?
I mean,
Come to the library and see what's going on.
yeah, the only time on a Thursday that there is not a program for children or adults is the second Thursday, because that's our teen night, but we will find something for you to do if you're bored, so.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
thanks.
We're going to go back. Dennis is here now. I'll let Dennis come in.
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Evening.
The golf course has just been doing fantastic. You know, of course, we're so weather related, and the weather's just been great in January, February. It's just been really remarkable. So our revenues are up for January and February, so that's just really good. I think we're about 55,000 ahead of last year for the year, which is, I mean, crazy good. So we've really, during that little snow period, we were able to really catch up, getting all of our maintenance equipment in really good shape. So we're ready to roll with our maintenance. We got our carts all ordered. I think all that's about all in line. All of our spraying out there is done, which is, that's a big project when you have to spray about 140 acres. We got that done, and we went over and sprayed the soccer fields, and you know, I'm really impressed with those soccer fields. We've been spraying them for about 4 years now, and they've really come around, and I don't know who all is in charge out there, but some of the other stuff, they're really making that place nice. So it's really good to see that progress. But that's all I have, some good stuff. So anybody have any questions for me?
Sir.
All
All
right,
right,
thank you.
thank you.
Dennis.
Parks and Cemetery, Frank Howell.
Getting off to a big start in spring already. We've already several issues, you know, fountains and people backing into the pipe fences, having them weld. And we hope we took the last dying tree out, big one at Centennial, and that turned into be it took several days time we cut, dropped, and hauled off that one. And we was fixing to start on the playground when limbs were falling out of that one, so we thought we better take care of that one. So hopefully when they all bloom out, there's not any more that we've lost over the winter. But we have kind of started on the playground. We've marked it off how we're going to, you know, set it. And then we've got the center poles and platform together that we always start with. It's just a matter of getting over there and things keep. And then, of course, that's time of year we start firing fountains and everything up, drinking fountains. So we're definitely busy.
And give us a quick update on the tennis court.
Yeah, good question. Just waiting for the plumbers to do and then pour the slab. The buildings that is in our lot, we've had it for a while now. Got the ice machine in, so just a matter of waiting for do the rough in and pour the slab. And I think from there it'll probably go pretty quick. I think, 'cause they've started, you know, tennis today. So.
We've secured the things like the toilets and urinals and sinks, water heaters, all that's been secured. We talked to the garage door company about the 2 doors that we'll need. They're going to get us some numbers on that, but sounds like everything else is just about
Yeah,
ready
I
to rock
think
and roll.
everything's shaping up, being in line. It's just a matter of getting to that rough end and the slab.
All right. And then it's a 2-week cure on that, right?
Yeah, so that's what I was told.
Yes, so. All right. Thank you. Police and Animal Shelter.
There you go.
Great.
So February was a smooth month. I would say quiet. It was smooth. Traffic stops at 347. Accidents were kind of high at 31, which has been kind of our average, but it's kind of been running. Arrest at 27. Animal calls 69, which is still pretty high. Everything else has kind of went down a little bit. One area that doesn't get enough attention is code enforcement, and I know Trent works really hard as far as there's a lot of legwork that goes into those, and so he does a good job, and he stays on top of it. Even helping with patrol, he's staying on top of his code enforcement duties and doing a good job there. The new trucks, the new SRO trucks are online back in the fleet. The new Explorers are at MEU, and they should be next few weeks be on patrol, so we'll be getting more cars offloaded and surplused. The February 3rd shooting on Forest Street, that was turned over to the FBI. They did make 2 arrests, but I'm not sure as far as the final outcome what it'll be with, but the FBI took it over. So that's,
Good deal.
and then we worked a DUI checkpoint on Super Bowl with the Highway Patrol. Got any questions for me?
How many arrests did you make during that DUI patrol?
I don't think I have any.
None?
It was a Sunday night, and I didn't think it'd be that busy over there, so it was pretty uneventful on that one.
That's good.
Animal shelter? Ms. Becky?
Not too much for me. Our numbers are still going the wrong direction. Brought in 37, got out 31. We're gonna try to have a lucky adoption this month and see if we can get some out.
Awesome. Well, if there's anything we can do, let us know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Take some animals.
Anybody?
All right? Taking an animal tonight will make you a great. All right. Mike from the rec center had an emergency today with his health, and so he sent me, while he was at the doctor, he sent me his report. He says membership was at 2,026, of which 518 were Cherokee Nation. Last 3 months have been over 2,000, and I know that was their goal, was to get memberships over 2,000. 18 pool parties last month, 7 of them over the last month. Not sure what that is, but okay. Easter egg hunt in the pool planned for March 28th. That's really a fun event. If you haven't been to that, I would encourage you to take your children. Adults, please don't plan on finding Easter eggs. It gets a little weird. Currently, we are hosting the Boys and Girls Club basketball camp. 2 coaches from the Dallas Mavericks G League team are leading it. They're $104,000 net revenue for the year through January. And on Sunday, March 15th, they are planning their 20th anniversary reception. There were some invites sent out to specific people and some special guests, but it is also open to the public. So they really want to make a special event of the 20th anniversary of the rec center. So that's all I have from Mike. Street, buddy?
I don't know if you even noticed, we finished up that wheelchair ramp there in front of the Methodist Church for them. Like I said, they come to us with a request. They've got several handicapped people in there that uses it quite a bit. We still got a few cosmetic things we need to do to it. We still got to come back and paint when it warms up out there in front. We got some cones sitting out there right now to keep people from parking on it. Also for our street project over off of Jackson Street, replaced that pipe in there. Overlaid it with some, well, I don't say overlay, we put asphalt over the top of it. We concreted the edges to hopefully keep the people from running over the edge and smashing the pipe ends and plugging them up. We've replaced a few street signs that we noticed people's been going around some of the stop signs with a hammer and beating for whatever reason. They're picking certain names and they're beating the hammer and taking them off of there for whatever reason. Went down, blocked off Southeast 6 today. I guess they've had quite a few complaints about people using that as a go-through, speeding up down the road. And so we went and we're not sure when the construction back over is supposed to start, so we went back over and blocked it off today. So it's back down to a dead-end street. Hopefully the citizens over there will be happy. Over on 202 North Aura, we dipped a ditch over there. We had installed a pipe back for the homeowners back years ago. They was gonna rebuild the house, and the pipe was still good, so we went and took it out and re-dipped that ditch and cleaned all the debris and everything up, because I know we got rain coming in, so that ought to help them with their water problems over there. But had another pipe over on 60 Irving. We had dipped the ditches over there beforehand. Then we come back today and put a pipe, or last Friday, I guess it was. We had a pipe put in. Homeowner bought it. We installed it, put gravel, packed it, put it on grade and everything for him, so he's happy. May have mentioned before, pipes on Dog Pound Road. For whatever reason, we had our other little entrance that we had down there that we use for our debris dumping and stuff. I don't know who was using it or whatever it was, but anyway, it was all it was totally bent over. So we had to replace that one, but we got the entrance ready, for whenever the asphalt needs to be done out there. We done some prep work on Southeast 14th for the overlay. We took the edge off of that where it was broke up and put gravel in it, and then when they come back in, they're going to, the mill where we put gravel in and put, asphalt down to it, because I was afraid that when we go through and if we'd have laid asphalt to it, the rollers would have rolled over the top of it, it would have broke out, and then you'd had extra work, and then you're digging next to new asphalt, which that wouldn't have been good. Clayton Road, we got that done. We got to go back this week and check. We got, a few of them's got some washboards in them. We'll grade those. We've been doing sweeping, potholes again on, Fridays. You know, we got, if they call in, we get in, we try to drive around on all of them, but we may miss some. And I got with Jared, he talked with me, on our parking lots up there in town, or up there at the shop. He got with me and he said he'd like to go ahead and have the parking lots done, so he's offered to, what we done with that. We got our part solved, we're still waiting on his, he's doing some things, but he said that he would actually pay for it, and then I would just reimburse him as we do, like we're doing right now, if he has to dig out in the street or something. Then I just send him an invoice every year if he owes us anything, so I mean, if it takes a couple years to pay, I mean, it shouldn't be all that much, but he said, yeah, being part of our infrastructure, he said he was gonna do his, so he said he'd like to have it, so he said he'd just offer to pay for ours. I said, that'll work. So, anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you. And Hannah, City Clerk.
I passed out my report to you guys. But we're really excited. We got January completed, financial statements, and Violet's here tonight to talk about the audit. We'll start at the 25. Lisa has got TCP canceled, and Paylocity will start implementing their time clock soon. Darla is right here. She's been doing really great with her accounts payable system. She's starting to do more ACH, like I've said before, and it's saving us a lot on postage and process. Cheryl, she's doing so many permits in community development. Requests for rezoning and RV parks have increased. Code enforcement, it's slowed, and there are no new locations for abatement and dilapidation hearings. She's been working on auditing the donation accounts for the department heads, so we can get that all situated. Jay is excited that she has got her agendas and minutes program going, and it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but everything's going to be in one spot. She's teaching us all. Donna's doing really great. She's been here for, I need to strike that, for 3 months. And she's getting very, very familiar with our processes with city court. They're going to do some training real soon. They're very excited about it. And Terry, we did have one tort claim that I'll let you know about. And then later on tonight, I'd like to request backfilling my desk 3 for deputy clerk. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you. Lots of good work going on throughout our city. I appreciate everybody's efforts. All right, we are going to skip ahead. We've got, like I said, a couple presentations. We don't want to make everybody sit here through all of those, so we're going to go ahead and skip to Mayor's Report, Item A, presentation from Pryor Public School Superintendent, Dr. Lisa Mueller, regarding the proposed upcoming school bond issue.
I've got some handouts for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your handouts are always nice.
Yes, I appreciate the time tonight to be able to talk with you about our upcoming bond election that is scheduled for April 7th. And Mayor Doyle warned me that the screen was not working, so I brought handouts, but that is a printed version of the presentation that I've been sharing with different community groups and wanting to get the word out about what we have proposed here for Pryor Public Schools. So just to start off by setting the kind of the purpose for why we are pursuing another bond election. Our last one was in 2022, and I'll talk about what's happened on those projects that were approved in 2022. But if you look at the first page of the handout, you can see that our enrollment continues to grow in Pryor. You may have seen some headlines recently about overall in Oklahoma, public school enrollment is down just a little bit, but that is not the case here. We are at record high enrollment in Pryor. You can see on the chart there's a pretty significant dip there on 2020. We might all want to block it out, but I'm sure you remember that in the 2020-2021 school year, all schools across the country experienced a dip in enrollment. But we have rebounded very strongly from that dip. The very next year, we were almost back to pre-pandemic enrollment, and then it's just continued to increase in the subsequent years. So, as I mentioned, the first year I was superintendent, when in 2022, we went out for a successful bond proposal and had a number of projects that were involved in that. And I know when you're asking for a new proposal, people want to know, well, what happened with that last one that was passed? So just as a reminder, we have completed most of the projects that were in that 2022 bond proposal, and the two that are still ongoing will be finished by the end of this school year. So the pieces that were key projects in that bond election were remodels at Jefferson and Lincoln Elementary School, the construction of a new maintenance facility that is out near the ag facility and the transportation facility. We did the stadium project, phase one, which was probably the signature project of the 2022 bond proposal. We purchased band instruments, which we have that on our rotating schedule to invest in those larger band instruments that families wouldn't be expected to buy on their own. The two that are still in progress are the addition at the high school behind the Burdick Center, and that addition is the one that includes a new format wrestling room, which is addressing our growth in the wrestling program. That is one that is really pretty rapidly expanding, especially with the increasing girls who are interested in wrestling. And it also includes space for pom and cheer, who have not had dedicated practice facilities, as well as a new gym that replaces the practice gym. And that gym will also be a storm shelter. So we'll now on the high school campus, it's such a large campus, we'll have a storm shelter in the band end on the freshman end of the building, and then one on the Burdick Center end, which will allow, if we need to shelter during the school day, quicker access to those shelters. But predominantly, we know that often those storms happen at night when people might be at the Burdick Center, and it'll be a quick entrance into that storm shelter. In addition, all of this will go under roof. So the Burdick Center, which is now freestanding, and those other facilities will be connected, and you will be able to walk inside from the Burdick Center side down to the freshman side, which that increases student safety as well during the school day. That is scheduled to be completed by August for the start of the school year. And then the middle school remodel and classroom addition, we raised the media center, which had been kind of that sunken living room effect in the middle school, to grade level, and then added some space that was much needed. We added teacher workroom and break room space, a new bank of restrooms for students, which was a need in that building, and then added a couple of classrooms on the other end to make up for what we took in with that media center and workroom expansion. So that is essentially complete. They're doing punch list items right now on that. In addition, in that same project, the old maintenance building, which is right behind the middle school, we are remodeling that to serve as our IT department space, as well as a STEM lab for our middle school, which did not have a dedicated STEM lab space before. So all of that will be finished. We're nearing completion on that right now. So that's kind of where we stand on the existing bond projects, and then kind of shifting to talk about, you know, what happened in the past, and then where are we going in the future. So that 2022 bond was the last one in a long-range plan that Dr. Raleigh developed when he came into Pryor. So it was a plan that started in 2009 and went all the way through that 2022 election. And I know many of you can envision what Pryor Public Schools looked like in 2009. And you know that it's really been completely transformed in that time period. So with that said, it's my job now to figure out, okay, we've finished that long-range plan. What are our needs for the future? And so a new phase, 3-phase plan, it's a little bit shorter right now than the 2009 to 2022, but we are envisioning at this point 3 bond proposals as part of this new long-range plan, the first one being the one in April. So if you look at the handout that shows what's listed for 2026, 2030, and then 2034, you can get an idea of those long-range plans. And one of the pieces I want to call attention to is that bullet point that talks about ongoing facility maintenance needs. This is one of those things that's not super exciting to talk about, like brand-new stadiums or other things like that. But because we've invested so much over time in a long-range plan, we have buildings that now, even the newer buildings from those early stages, are getting to be a little bit older. So we want to be sure that we are being very responsible in taking care of what we've already invested in. So when you see those facility maintenance needs listed, it's things like new roofs, new HVAC systems, upgrading plumbing perhaps, new resurfacing of parking lots, those kinds of things that, as you know, as city council members, it's just like when you're having to maintain the roads and all of those kinds of things. It's expensive, but we need to be sure that we are taking care of our previous investments. So that's what that piece means in that long-range plan. You'll see that showing up in each one of the phases. To talk about the plans for this April's proposal, one of the pieces, and this is to address that chart that you saw going up with student enrollment, we are proposing a new middle school campus that is across, we own that property across from the new stadium. That is where a 7th and 8th grade center, we won't call it that, but that's the grade levels that it will serve, will be. And what building a new facility for 7th and 8th grade means is that we can then use the existing middle school to create an intermediate school to serve 5th and 6th graders. So that addresses the growth needs at both the elementary and the middle school level. Because right now, our current middle school is pretty tight for 3 grade levels of students at our level of enrollment. But for 2 grade levels, it will be nice to have some room for growth, as well as room for expansion of different programs. By pulling 5th grade out of the elementary schools, we free up those classrooms at all 3 of our elementary schools. So that would be 4 each at both Roosevelt and Lincoln, and 2 at Jefferson. So again, gives us room to grow throughout that all the way from pre-K through 8th grade. Then in the future, we're looking toward a high school classroom addition in a future bond issue, likely the 2030, for some classroom addition. We've been talking about tennis. We appreciate the partnership with the city using the tennis courts, but I know that that is a facility that could be helpful for us to have our own as well. So looking at having a facility for our tennis teams, as well as, again, that ongoing maintenance. Band instruments would be up by then, and also some instructional technology pieces. And then if the growth continues at the same rate, and we would obviously assess that as we moved closer to 2034, but at that point, we would anticipate an additional elementary school and then those ongoing facility maintenance needs and instructional technology. So that's really a short kind of capsule of what the new long-range plan looks like. There's some pictures there of the new middle school, what it might look like. And on the second page there, there's a couple more showing, how that would sit on the property. And the map there, the site map shows we are designing it with it set back from 9th Street quite a bit, and parking lots there in front. have specifically talked to the architects about pulling as much drop-off and pickup traffic off of roads as possible. So parent pickup and drop-off would be on the Oklahoma Street side, and bus pickup and drop-off would be at 9th Street. So that is also, we would love to see an expansion. I know this is right on the other side of the city line right now, although I've talked with Mayor Doyle about the possibility of addressing that with you all as well. But eventually, of course, we'd love to see a street expansion, and this has been designed to accommodate that. Then the second big piece of this proposal is Phase 2 of the stadium project. So that would involve the field house project that would be on the end zone that's open right now, so the opposite end zone from where the video board currently is, and that would house the locker rooms, team meeting space, weight room, athletic training space, and hospitality space for both football and soccer. So right now, those teams are using their previous facilities that we had in place before we built the new stadium. This would allow them to be all in one place and provide them the opportunity to practice right there where they're playing, as well as have those facilities to better meet their needs. We've outgrown, the football team is growing, and so having some additional locker room and weight room space would be very helpful for them. In addition, we are proposing what we're calling practice space. We will do this as an alternate bid scenario, so we will see kind of how bids are going by the time we get to this point. The picture on top shows a indoor practice facility located behind the field house, and that is on slide number 9 if you're looking on page 5. So that shows a 50-yard indoor practice facility behind the field house. That would serve not only the soccer and football programs, but also would give band a place if we have inclement weather, whether it's too hot or too cold or rainy, to be able to practice inside, which would be very helpful for all of those programs. If that is not in the cards for the budget, you see another drawing on slide 10 there at the bottom of page 5 that shows just a traditional field behind the field house that would also provide additional practice space. But we certainly hope that the funds come in a way that we're able to do that indoor space. I anticipate, we've seen other states pass legislation about heat caps and things like that. So I anticipate that we will need an indoor facility sooner rather than later. The next page has just a little more on the floor plan for that field house facility. And then always the key question, how much is this all going to cost? So there's a general budget there on the bottom of page 6 that shows that is not only the construction costs, but also the interest costs for the bond issue. So that's an all-inclusive number there. I would love if someone would say, oh, these are school districts, we should, not charge them interest. No one does that. So we do include that in the cost of the projects. The bulk of this would go towards the cost of the middle school, with smaller amounts going towards phase 2 of the stadium, and then the ongoing facility maintenance piece for a total of $98,155,000 is the proposal. But the good news is on the next page, and that is that even at that amount, this is structured to keep property taxes stable. So this is a no tax increase proposal. You can see, and the colors aren't nearly as nice because I did not spend money to print this in color. I did it in black and white. But the darker bar is the projected property tax rate over the course of since 2019. So we work with a bond consultant who works this out and tells us what it's likely to be. And then the lighter bar is what it actually has been. So you can see that we have come in below projections historically here in Pryor. We're able to do that because of the growth in our overall valuation in the district. We are very fortunate, as you know, to have that strong tax base here in Pryor, and so that helps spread the burden of any kind of bond proposal pretty evenly across there. Also, I know no one cares about anything but their own personal taxes, but we have a very low tax rate as compared to other school districts. So we are able to put this proposal out and have that come in with maintaining that low tax rate without an increase if that is passed. So then my next slide just reminds people to vote on April 7th. The deadline is coming up. I'm sure you all are all registered voters, but some people in the audience, either online or here, may not be. So the deadline to register and to be able to vote in this election is March 13th. Also, a question that I often get, and it's relevant here particularly, people who live outside the city limits, of course, aren't eligible to vote for your positions or for mayor or other city elections. But anyone who lives within Pryor Public School District can vote in this election. So even if you live, just outside the city limits, but you are within the school district, you are eligible to vote. I know you all obviously live within the city limits, but for those listening, if you don't, but you live within the school district, you are eligible. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
Yes, I have a few.
Yes.
When you, on page 5, slide 9, you got off track a little bit and you forgot to talk about the band bleachers.
Yes, so the band bleachers, currently the band is located below the video board, and we had some challenges with that, even though that was raised during the design process, and we were assured that no, there weren't going to be challenges, but there were. So one of the pieces that we're looking at is moving the band over to the visitor side, and so on that page, when you look at the slide for slide 10, the new bleachers will be located between where the field house is drawn and the visitors' bleachers that are existing there. So they'll slot in really nicely right there. We have addressed the sound issues overall as far as just general sound, but that also, I certainly noticed as we were listening, during the game, you could hear the visitors' band often better than ours, and it's because of the way the sound was directed. So that will give our band the ability to play toward our home crowd, which will be really helpful. And then we'll be able to use the seating below the video board for our student section, which will also free up seats on the home side as well. So I think it's a win-win. We've already done the design work for that, and that will be a very early piece of the project, so we want to have that in place for next season. The challenge that we ran into is public bidding law. We always, of course, make sure that we follow that, and once we got the bids in for that project, it exceeded what we could just do on our own, so we are wrapping it into this.
Okay. I have 3 more.
Yes.
How long is the bond last?
So
Will it be
this
paid
is
off?
a lease revenue bond, so it is designed to be a long-term bond, which you get all your money up front, and then you pay it off over a period of time. So it would be a payoff period of 15 years.
15 years. Okay. And then what is going to be done with the old football field? What's the plans for it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have not done anything with it yet because, as I said, soccer is still using that facility for all of their practice pieces. So we've left it as is. We anticipate once we are not using it for any of our teams anymore, that we will demolish that facility, mainly because of the condition of those home bleachers. That's what led us to move toward a new stadium. But if we are if we're still on track with our growth, that is the site that we would anticipate using for the new elementary school in that last phase of this long-range plan.
Okay. And then lastly, what is the realistic discussion that's been done between maybe the mayor's office and you all about what to do about 9th Street?
Right.
And the traffic that's going to be on that narrow 2-lane road?
Right. So one thing I do always like to point out is there's not going to be a time where we are going to be both doing middle school drop-off and pickup and having a football game. So everybody's like, well, those are two big things, but those don't happen at the same time, which is good. But that is the piece that we've really worked with the architects to design ways to pull traffic off both of those streets at that intersection, and so that we don't back up. But yes, and the other part is the entrance, the parent drop-off and pickup on Oklahoma will get them off of 9th Street, right as it comes into that 2-lane part. So we are definitely considering that. But I do think there's been a lot of design work that goes into that piece. And of course,
So, part of, I think, what you're asking is the eastbound traffic of 9th Street, right? So we've talked a little bit about that, and that's actually gonna be a burden that'll fall on the city. We're probably not gonna make anything until we're sure that the school is done building over there. We really wanna find a way to create I don't like using the word a bypass, because that sounds like we're just intentionally getting people from an area. We want to create a path that takes us from, Dale, I hope you're taking notes, that takes us from 9th Street, somewhere in the vicinity of the rec center, the football field. It's going to be kind of tight. We may have to go a little further east than the ag building. Problem is, then we get into Mub's got a substation over there. There were some preliminary plans drawn up that take us from 9th Street down a 2-lane road in between the power cut. That's not doable for us. That says you're gonna forever and always be a 2-lane road and straight as an arrow and you can't grow. And I don't wanna build anything between power lines. I don't think that that's productive use of money. So we're gonna look at how we can do that. And eventually, the long term on that is creating a retail district or something where there's things like, places for kids and families to go after the football games, maybe some hotels, things like that, that'll pull some revenues, that'll accommodate that part of town, but lessen the traffic on the 9th and Elliott corridor. And so, once that construction there we know is kind of wrapping up, then we'll really drill into, all right, what land is available and where can we go? In the meantime, some of the talks with, the Department of Defense have been had about property that they would be willing to let us use. There's some property owners that have said, come hell or high water, you're not touching my field. To which the other part of that marriage said, well, he'll be gone in a few years. So, those conversations are out there, they've been had. There is absolutely a need, and that's recognized. But again, I think, Lisa, you'll confirm, I'm sorry, Dr. Mueller. Sorry, I didn't mean that.
That's fine.
Dr. Mueller, you'll confirm that the school is still bound to what they can spend their money on, much like we are. And so that'll have to be an expense that we come up with funding, whether it's through grants, working through Department of Transportation, partnering with the county, whatever we do, to find a way to make that a viable, productive use of road. The problem is, again, a mile of road isn't a couple $100,000 anymore, it's a couple million now. So, and that would have to be a road that constructed out of concrete with the right, the right base. That's not the word I was looking for, but it works. The right base that would handle traffic and be a long-term solution. So we're not going back and, having to fix it like we would a Dog Pound Road or a Clayton Road. So we want to make sure that that's right. But again, we're probably looking at, several $1 million. So one of the discussions is possibly that if the city ever were to have to go out for a bond again, we have some things that we want to do. That would be part of that, along with some of the other capital projects that we have kind of in the background. So, did I cover your side on that too?
Absolutely, thank you.
That answer, Terry?
Kinda.
There would also probably be some annex issues
Correct.
with the county commissioners.
I know about that, but I'm talking about immediately right there at that little junction of 9th and Oklahoma, on that narrow 2-lane road with the parking lot going into the new school. What about that right there? Because that's where the big bottleneck's gonna be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look at that. And like she said, a lot of their goal is to pull traffic off of 9th Street and into that lot. We're like at Roosevelt or Jefferson or.
The existing middle school has absolutely no space except city streets. So I think it will actually be quite an improvement for the existing campus.
The pickup lanes are all on public streets, and that creates those bottlenecks. The design here, if I understand correct, is to get them off of the street and onto the parking lot to do that, so that it doesn't obscure that.
That's correct.
And as we go forward, we'll continue to work on that light there at 9th and Elliott. Every time I go over to the high school, the resource officer says, Mayor, that light's only 23 seconds on this one. Can we get it fixed? It's bottleneck. I noticed today when I picked my son up, traffic was backing up pretty good too. So, but there are events going on, band competitions and things like that. So we just have to know
And we would like to work together as well for a light at the intersection that you're addressing as well, which I think would be very helpful.
Thank you.
Other questions?
the storm shelters that you
Yes.
talked about, will that be accessible to the public?
So right now, we do not have an agreement to make those storm shelters accessible to the public right at this point, but that's certainly something that the board and I could consider as we move forward.
I know they have the Manor Wallace across the street over there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what kind of a storm shelter
That
system
they have, yeah,
situation they
yeah,
have.
I'm not certain on that.
We don't have anything.
I didn't think they did.
At the time, is there going to be an increase with the need of SROs?
So there would be an increased need for an SRO position at that site as well. Questions?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Fred, for coming and being with her, and Ms. Anderson, we appreciate you. All right, we're going to skip down to item C, presentation and discussion regarding the mid-year financial status from City Accountant Jeff Kolker. And you guys all should have gotten that projection that was sent to
Everybody
me
have that?
this afternoon.
Okay. I'll make it brief as I can. We have a few columns there. The first column of numbers is what were on the financial statements that were issued last day or so, the January financial statements, where revenues were 5.3 million and the expenses were 5.2. Currently, we're about 126,000 to the good. So, doing some calculating and projecting, I have the second column of numbers there with the estimated remaining. I estimate that the revenues will be about 3.9 for the next 5 months. I mean, this is January, so February, even though it's already passed, I don't have the financials. And then expenditures of about 3.7 million. So I'm projecting for the next 5 months will be 200,000 to the good. So for about the year, it's looking like our revenues will exceed our expenses by about 330,000 projected. Okay.
Should's the key word there, right?
What?
Should is the key word there, right?
Right, well, now, yes, but just remember, this time last year, we were sitting at what looked like a negative $500,000, and I projected we would finish the year break even, and we finished the year break even.
With just
So,
a couple extra dollars to spare.
a few.
Yeah.
So, I use the same methodology that I used last year as this year. I took out some known numbers from the revenue, and I knew what those were going to be. Then I projected the rest, and I did the same for the expenses. So I'm fairly confident in these numbers. But what I'll plan on doing is after each financial statement, I will update and estimate the remaining months after that so that we can kind of see as we go along, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And also I put in there the 25-26 budget and how we're going to compare to that. So you can see that I project we're going to be about $500,000 under the budget, which we prepared. So, all in all, we're doing pretty good. I mean, we're not rich, but it's a lot better than a few years ago. Okay?
A lot of hard work from everybody.
So, are there any questions for me?
Not necessarily for you, but for the mayor, when are we gonna start working on next year's budget?
Probably here pretty soon, within the next month or so. We'll start looking at that.
You gonna use the same process you did last year?
Exactly the same process. Keeping in mind, we really won't have anything solid till August 1st. So anything we do now that gets us ahead of the game, just gets us that far ahead of the game at the end.
Right, we can project close to where we're going to be, but the exact numbers we'll have to wait for end of the year, after the end of the year.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. It's a much-awaited mid-year review.
We didn't have to get you a chair.
It's usually shorter when it's good news.
All right.
Jeff, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I believe I had mentioned to Hannah that we were going to go back to the consent report from here, or the consent agenda. So that said, is that what we have? 5B. Yeah, we can do that, yeah. That would be swell. I'm sure you'd appreciate that. Discussion and possible action regarding the acknowledgement of the June 30th, 2024 Independent Auditor's Report of Financial Statements for the City of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, as presented by Violet Kirkendall of Hood and Associates, PC Certified Public Accountants.
Motion.
Thank you. I have a motion from Brashears,
Second.
second from Brown. Floor is yours, ma'am.
Pass, because I was already here, right?
Yep.
So, okay, I think everybody has a copy of the audit that was found and ready for you
Hang on
all.
one second. We had a motion and a second. Let's call for the vote.
Lamar,
We get excited.
You want to vote?
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Bradshaw.
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
You're gonna take us page by page, line by line.
I'm gonna
right?
try to do the best I can to not put everybody to sleep. but-
Miss Violet, I'd appreciate it if you don't take us page by page.
Okay,
Hit the high
well, I'm
points.
gonna take you through it, but in a very fast pace, okay? Not page by page, but. So page one is what we call the independent auditor's report. It's right behind the table of contents. And this just shows this audit was for your fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024, and that in our opinion, your financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects as of that date. We used standards generally accepted in the United States to conduct the audit, as well as government auditing standards. The next several pages are what we call the management discussion and analysis. And those are, we're going to go over to the financial statements because those are just narrative information about it. Page 22 is where we're going to skip over to, which is the statement of net position. And it starts, this is a combined government-wide statement. So it has governmental activities, which are the city funds. We have business-type activities, which are the proprietary business-type activities, which is a rec center, golf course, and MUB. So we have, we're going to go over the total columns, because we'll separate those out as we go. Total assets at June 30th, 2024 was $119,729,000. We had total liabilities down in that section of $20,335,000, and that brings you to your net position of $101,395, basically equity. But as of that amount, we had invested in capital assets after debt and depreciation, $80,060,000. So then we had some restricted monies for special purposes, debt service, capital projects that amounted to $16,907,000. So unrestricted monies that you carried into 25 fiscal year was $4,427,000. Page 23, this is a statement of activities. This is another government-wide statement. It is an income statement, but it's the way we have to present it for government standards is kind of backwards. It starts with the expenditures, and those are all on page 24 for the total. At the top is $31,895,000 in expenses for all departments, all funds. And then we're going to work to the right where we had charges for services. These are program revenues directly related to departments and programs of $18,322,000. We had some operating grants and capital grants. And then we're going to drop down to the taxes, general revenues, and investment incomes. We had a total general revenues and transfers, $13,569,000. So overall, for the government-wide, we had change in net position, a net income, $404,080. So that with the beginning gives you that ending net position total that we just talked about, $101,395,000. Page 25 is what we call the second set of financial statements that are included in your audit, and this is the government funds only, and these are called fund accounting statements, so they don't include any capital assets or any kind of debt or anything like that. So it has the cash, taxes receivable, and due from other funds, total assets being $9,393,000 for those city funds. Total liabilities, $1,253,000, and makes your fund balance or equity on that basis of accounting of $8,140,000, and that's shown there between the restricted, unassigned, and assigned monies. Page 26 is just showing you a reconciliation of the governmental column on that government-wide to these financial statements, and basically the difference between the two, like I said, is capital assets, compensated absences, and pension and long-term debt. Page 27 is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balances for the governmental funds only again.
has total revenues of $12,118,000. Over on page 28, we have total expenditures, $15,198,000. We had total other financing sources of $833,000 to make a net change in fund balance. For these financial statements, you had a loss of $2,246,000. There was $3 million in capital outlay expenditures, so that's probably what resulted in all of that loss. Page 29 is just another reconciliation of the first income statement information for governmental funds to this one. Again, it's capital assets, depreciation, and debt activity that was the difference. Page 30 starts the proprietary funds separate financial statements, and that again is for the rec center, golf course, and the municipal authority department. This is a statement in position, and we have total assets at June 30th for those funds were $54,230,000. Total liabilities were $3,629,000, and net position was $50,601,038. And again, $35,429,000 is that capital assets after debt. So, and we have some restricted monies in there as well. Page 31 is an income statement for the proprietary funds, and total operating revenues were $17,937,000. Total operating expenses, $18,282,000. And then we have a non-operating revenue where we bring in the sales tax and grants and investment income of $2,473,000. So for the proprietary funds, we had a change in net position or net income of $1,299,000. Page 32 is a statement of cash flows. Basically, it just shows you where the money was used or provided by activity. I think we're just going to move on from that because that's really just some information that's just additional support. We're going to go over to page 51. The pages in between that and 51 are accounting policies that you've adopted throughout the years that didn't have any changes for this audit. So we're going to skip over to page 51 where we do have some changes on capital assets for the governmental funds activities, again, for the city. We had additions in capital assets of $3,087,000. We had some transfers and disposals. When assets are old, we take those off eventually when they're useless. So then we had the accumulated depreciation for the current year on those assets were $2,443,000. And so the governmental activities net capital assets, which is on that first government-wide financial statements for assets, was $55,955,000 in net book value. The business type activities, again, those are the proprietary fund, and we had additions this year of $2,861,000, and then at the top of page 52, we had the depreciation on those assets, $1,566,000, and net book value for those business type activities were $35,449,000. Page 53, we had some governmental activity debt outstanding for June 30th, 2024 was $11,324,000. Let's see, I guess we're gonna go over to page, if I can get my tab up here, 75. And this is what probably the final financial statement we'll talk about, but it's your general fund budgetary comparison. It's the only fund that we actually have to present a budgetary report on it. So we're going to go to what the final budget was over on page 76 for revenues for your fiscal year 24. We budgeted $9,220,000. We actually collected $9,935,000, so we over-collected your revenues, $715,516. Down towards the bottom, you see total changes in operations. That's a final budgeted expenditures, the same $9,220,000 since it's a balanced budget. And then we spent $9,362,000, so we overspent the budget on those expenditures by $142,000. The next pages throughout are the combining information that's included in the governmental funds. There's some columns that say major, non-major, other funds. That's the detail for that if everybody wants to see what's included in those. And those are all the special revenue funds that there are. Page 84 is a report on internal controls over financial reporting and compliance with laws and regulations. part of performing the audit is we test expenditures, we test deposits, and make sure everything that's collected was deposited and timely deposited. Payroll taxes, or payroll transactions, we test some different randomly selected payroll checks to make sure they were valid employees. If they, or if they had a bunch of zero checks, what happened, or that kind of thing. So those are the tests that we do over internal controls over financial reporting. Compliance with, report over compliances over loans and grants and that kind of thing to make sure that you complied in those respects. So page 86 is the findings on last year's audit, which you had none then, and 87 is what you had this year, which is then no audit findings. So, did I go fast enough?
You did wonderful.
That's pretty quick.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions?
All right. Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go on, now we'll go back to the consent agenda item.
Hey, Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Mr. Anderson have a presentation as well?
No,
He doesn't?
I don't think he does. Do you? Okay, come on up, Mr. Anderson.
He always has a presentation.
Yeah, he can wait.
Yours is
Item E, I think.
item E?
Well, you're here.
Just come on up, what the heck, let's do it. Item E, discussion and possible action regarding approval of the EDTA recommendation to transfer $62,000 from Fund 68, account 68-685-5342, transfer to other funds, to the EDTA Festival account 98-0004545, transfers from Fund 98. These funds will be used for the 2026 Music Festival in the Downtown Corridor.
Motion.
We have a motion from Choya and a second from Brashears. Discussion?
Mr. Mayor, did you vote to approve the audit?
We voted to acknowledge the audit, and it was all yeses.
That was the nuts and bolts of it. It's, the EDTA established the budget for this year's festival at $100,000. The amount that we have in the festival account makes up that difference, so we need $62,000 from Fund 68. There is approximately $685,000 in that fund now. So this would, reduce it by $62,000. We would use that for the entertainment stage and festival-related expenses, just like we have the last couple of years. So do you all have any questions for me? Nope. Okay.
Thanks. Call for the
That's it.
vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw. Yes. Rushiers.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar.
Yes.
Okay, let's try this again, Hannah. Consent agenda item 4A, or whatever we need to pull from there. Is there any that anybody needs to pull? I want to pull item I.
You were pulled what?
Item I. I want to explain that. Okay. There are no others. Do I have a motion for consent agenda less item I?
Motion. Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Choi and a second from Brown. Was it Brown?
Trammell.
Trammell, I'm sorry, Trammell. It's kind of just this one tone over here.
Give it to Brown.
Give it to Brown. All right. Item I, call for the vote.
Bradshaw. Yes. Rushiers.
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes.
Okay. Item I is approve an expenditure in the amount of $3,607.98 to Backward Audio LLC for installation and programming to upgrade the streaming equipment in the council chambers to be paid from City Hall Capital Outlay 44445-5427.
Motion.
A motion from Brashears,
Second.
second from
Bruce.
Mr. Smith. This is basically, this would give a small digital console to the clerk's desk that would allow them to control the cameras, also control the audio a little bit better, and to turn on and off the stream. Things that right now they get this, it's like an old school button underneath that they have to turn and find the right number, and then they have to go in there and they have to turn it into whatever. This would allow her to control all of that from a small digital control box here. Right now, for those that are unaware, we have these new 4K cameras, and the only one that gets used is that one, because we can't control that one right now. So this would allow us to be able to use those cameras to their fullest extent, and some of the technologies that those cameras have include, they can follow somebody around the room, they have facial recognition. There was a lot that went into those cameras, but right now we're using that on just standard stream. And then the audio would allow us to turn things on and off a little more accurately. So we're not up here going every time, so.
Would that permit a petitioner to be viewed on that camera?
Possibly. That's the goal, is that we will be able to toggle to that camera and see. So when we talked to Mr. Backward, that was what he said he could do with that. Yeah, Chase, you're going to get it either way. So, any questions on that? And that is, I want to be very clear, that is additional to what we've already had done that was done previous. This will be a different purchase. So if there's no further, then we'll call for the vote.
Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes.
Okay. Mayor's report, item D. Discussion and possible action to allow the city clerk's office to accept applications for deputy clerk position to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Sarah Catrone.
Motion. Second.
A motion from Brashears and a second from Brown. Discussion, Hannah? This your item.
It's my turn. I have probably sent a ton of information. You guys were like, whoa. But I'm very, very passionate about getting our office up to speed. And we need this person to fill in the gap that we've tried to take care of for over a year now, and it's getting tough. So I would like your approval to backfill this position so that we can get back the processes that we are not totally completing, and it's been thrown on other desks to do. Do you have any questions?
I got two ideas, and this is, I know you want a full-time employee. The library needed a full-time employee, the park board the parks people needed a full-time employee, and they got part-time employees. Could you make it with a part-time employee? Would that help you out?
I believe so. I need help.
Right.
So-
Well, I mean, we used to have Lisa Long and
That's
different people like that.
That would be a great start to get.
That would cut down quite a bit on all of the final cost of an employee, but you'd still have somebody working here. That would help. And if we would quit taking your people over by asking so many questions, do you have to go look stuff up and everything? That would probably help also.
Well, there's a lot more records requests than ever, and it's that way across all the cities. There is an immediate want for now,
Yeah.
and I think.
You need a records clerk just to do that.
Yeah, and like the example from last council when we were trying to research for the trash, that would have been that person's duty to get on that. There's just some things that are just hard to complete and backing up. So that person would be taking care of those.
I wish we had the money to hire several more people, in different departments. I really do. But I was wondering if you could, and you guys, put your thoughts in there too. If you could get by with a part-time employee for a while until our financials get a little better.
Would that
help?
I would entertain that. I would hope that I would be able to get quality help that would want to stay. That's my biggest.
Yeah, you're right.
Because when you don't have a good foundation set up for that employee, it feels like they are not committed.
Well,
And that's the
those-
problem with a
Understand.
part-time employee.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
gonna stick around just long enough to find a full-time
Till,
job.
till they find
Right.
something else.
Right.
So what I was gonna ask is, and full transparency, after the last meeting, you, the mayor, and I kind of had a sidebar about the records.
Yes.
Because of the questions I was asking related to, I forget what the.
It was mostly the
But-
trash situation.
Yeah, it was the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to have this individual focus heavily, not predominantly, but heavily, on digitizing all of our paper records?
That's
To make it
exactly,
so much easier,
that's exactly. what
down
we're-
the road,
yes.
more efficient and effective way of
Yes.
searching? Because right now, it sounds like y'all are literally going through boxes from decades ago.
We have a mix. We have a mix of it. There still needs to be some organization in the digitized files that we have.
There was a lot of that done, but then it didn't get completed. It had to stop because we didn't have people to do it.
Yeah.
I'd even be okay buying a special software package for y'all that organizes digital records and makes it much easier to search those digital records. I know those exist. I just don't know the cost. It'd be,
Yeah, that'd be another research item to figure out what would be best.
which she could do for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we need someone to research that too.
So it's, I want to just kind
I
of,
personally am good with a full-time employee.
2 cents from me, and I appreciate the comments from you guys. I think it's important to give credit to where the girls are at now, and I say the girls respectfully. But recognizing that Darla has taken on the purchasing, and we have no backup for Darla. We have no backup for Cheryl, who is our code enforcement, doing accounts receivable and doing community development and researching the donations, sorry.
And titles.
And
Keeping track
titles.
of all
So,
the titles.
which-
No one able to do the inventory as it should be done.
And so we've got there, and so what that does, that really pulls away from one area or the other. Good thing right now is that code enforcement is kind of on a lull. We've got to kind of like slow our roll on abatements because, money only goes so far, but we've made some huge accomplishments there. But all of that requires follow-up. Everything that Officer Humphreys comes in, she's got to process it. It's pictures, the pictures and photographs from Kenny and from Craig on their inspections, all has to be photograph logged. In the meantime, Zach's up here saying, hey, Cheryl, what do we do? Because XYZ needs a construction permit, or XYZ needs this, and hey, what do we need for permits on this project? And then you have Jay, who is the mayor's secretary, and I'm gonna tell you, Jay is a rock star, as are all of the ladies. But Jay has taken on a lot of the responsibilities, and it's just kind of a good thing that I don't use her quite as much as previous mayors have used theirs. Darla, you were one, right? And it's allowed Jay to step up and do a lot of the training for Donna, and to go in and help her with that. She still attends some of the court. She's still doing all of these things and helping with social media and. And then you have Donna, who is so buried in court stuff, getting that caught up. And so we did make good progress on the records, digitizing the records when Courtney was here. I'd say we're probably, though, only about 35%. And we do have files that are called the virtual vault and shared files where a lot of that is at, and it's nice to be able to go in and do it. But there was something the other day that I had to go find, and it was an hour in the vault, which is just, it's files after files after files, and sometimes it's not there. But I agree. I think it would be nice to have software that would digitize that, get all that. Those are the things that as we get into the, whatever century we're in, we need to get on board with that. So kudos to all the girls. And then Hannah is still just clean up every day. She is.
So, can I say something? On your part, HR is another huge part of it that is left out because there's not a full-time person. And that is a major undertaking because we run a lot of stuff through that. Plus all the record grants, all the stuff flows through the departments, goes straight there. So there is a ton of work that flows through them, and if that's not working, it backlogs everything else. So.
Let me ask, what does a fully staffed city hall office look like for you?
That would be everyone in those seats. There's 2 empty desks right now.
And you have one that's sort of part-time too, don't you?
Yes, payroll,
Payroll. And that's a heavy-duty part-time one too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and how much of that's being taken by, not to veer off too far, but how much of that's being taken up by Paylocity? Like, what's the load work that's being shifted to them versus what used to be done?
Well, there is an organization of, they take care of the tax payments. They make sure garnishments are completed and updated. That's a lot of time and to take care of if anybody's got garnishments. There's a whole process for that, and they are on the hook to make sure that's right. There is, oh my goodness, there is I mean, you guys know with collective bargaining agreements, that is one of the biggest undertakings.
You have
And
to,
Paylocity is, we have to do all of these changes with them and then test them, and then test them, and then test them.
but you have to remember, all of that information has to come from somebody in here
Yes,
before it goes to
Yes.
Paylocity, before they can plug it into their computer.
yes,
You have to do all the research work in here.
yes,
It's not just they know that this person, that all has to be put in.
yes.
So
That's-
so basically, you would like to work to getting to full-time and then moving that part-time up to a full-time, and then, would that make you happy?
Well,
Would that, I'm sorry, would that be suitable for your
She's
office?
just replacing one that she lost.
Oh, I know, but I know you guys do a heck of a lot of work. And
Yeah.
over half the stuff not being digitized and is not helping you either. So I was just curious for future, down the line, if our revenues continue to go up and up,
each year I would like to
get that office staff.
work
completely.
towards budgeting for a full staff. We have held on for a long time because of the issues, but we have, my girls are tired, so I don't want it to cause sickness. I want them to be able to take their time off that they have been allotted to go for training.
How much overtime are you using?
We barely have spent any in overtime. They are, they kick it with that, and they try to stay under because that's what you guys asked. I don't spend any money in that. If you look at what have spent, I'm like the cheapest apartment. So,
Let me
I was gonna say, it's gonna come from over there.
no, look at where we are.
So I just wanna throw this out. This was part of our conversation with Charles last week. Hannah and I talk a lot about this. Chief and I were talking about this just before the meeting. With the records requests that are coming in, we still have some that we are, and Chase, close your ears. We have some that are pushing a year old that we just can't get to, and Chief will attest to it, Hannah will attest to. They are coming in by the dozens every day. And so having somebody really that could be dedicated to records and things, if we had those digitized, it'd be much easier to do a couple clicks, send and done. Some of these could potentially turn into some issues down the road if we can't.
I was actually gonna ask a question, it's more for you. Can we charge for records requests, and if we can, do we have the discretion on how much we charge?
To an extent,
We have a fee schedule, but we have to adapt that because we haven't changed it in a long time.
I'm saying, that's where I'm going, I think we need to relook
Yeah.
how
I-
much
I
we're charging for
agree.
all these records requests. For number one, it'll generate revenue.
Yeah.
Number two, it'll get rid of some of the superfluous crap coming in.
So we did change our fee schedule at the police department. So we're separate when it comes to records, if it's a city hall record or if it's a police department record. But records at the police department, we do have a fee schedule, and like one the other day was $600. And we're making them pay before it goes and gets redacted, and there's a lot of things that you can do by law.
Chase, what did
If we did it right, we could cover some of that salary for that,
Absolutely.
for that employee.
GRDA charge for their records request? Y'all can go research that one, it'll drop your jaw.
Yeah.
We're not getting into that, but
Hannah, let me ask you a question. Right now, before let's say hiring freeze, I know it's a joke, but when we had the hiring freeze, How far are you behind now, or are you even, or are you ahead? Where are you at on personnel? Do you know?
We've been behind 2 people, was before I came, too. But once Sarah was gone, that really, really put a hardship. And then we had trouble with, our court clerk. It was like coming and going, and you lose, turnaround.
And there's
It's terrible.
training time.
Or turnover's terrible.
What I'm trying to reason, as far as Jeremy, we come up with a plan that he held what he's got. If one quit, he'd replace it.
Yes,
He hadn't added any more. He'd like to. He'd take 5 right now. But
right,
is that where you're at?
Yes.
You just need to replace one?
Yes.
You're not adding anything?
no,
I don't know what discussion is in.
No, if
Thank
you're not
you.
adding one, let's go for it.
Yeah.
thank you.
Should we call for the vote?
Call for the
I'm
vote.
ready, are you guys?
Do it?
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Absolutely.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Woo!
All right, let's get some order back in here. All right, I think we're on item F.
Yes.
Discussion and possible action regarding the implementation and management oversight of a municipal commuter vehicle policy authorizing the commuting of a 30-mile radius from the department parking lot to the address on file with the city clerk's office.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion. Shit. We have a motion from Trammell and a second from Brown. Discussion.
Let's just go over the cost.
So
Yes.
essentially, what this brings it back to where it was when Chief Nichols was here. In 21, there was a policy in place for take-home cars. When finances got tight, that was pulled, and that's what we're revisiting. The discussion was a point from, somewhere here in town to the residents. And that policy to stay the same, if you go from the police department to everybody's residence, would be 30 miles, and that's the same as it was. It was 25, but it was as the city limits. So if you're south city limits, it would take away that 5 miles. It also allows them to park at the nearest police department in the secure facility. So Catoosa PD, for example, would be within that range they could park at. Part of this is, like you heard the superintendent talk, long-range plans. You gotta have a structure, you gotta have somewhere you're going. We went through some extremely hard times. I know some of y'all were here when 23 hit, and we were 2 months in, and we were cutting $900,000 out of the budget. It was brutal, and there was some rough couple years there that we went through with people, turnover. At this point, the way I look at it is gotta stabilize. Now you gotta look at, okay, let's rebuild what we have. Let's stabilize the fleet, the officers, those kind of things. So it's a long-range plan for operations within the department. This is one of the things that I think will help bring stability within the department. If you look at the cost, I put, pen to paper on it. Right now, there's 14 officers already within that program. So there is a program in place, even with the ordinance, that allows 14 officers to take on cars. That's administrative, that's the detectives, and that's anybody in town. So 14 already have it. The additional 15 would cost around $30,000 a year. So anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000 a month is what it would run. We budgeted in our fuel budget this year for the take-home cars. We had $105,000 in the budget. As of today, we are at $39,000 is what we spent. So we have $65,000 remaining in the budget. Projected to the end of the year, we're gonna hit $67,000, so that leaves a difference of $37,600 in that budget line item. The program's gonna cost for the rest of the year, 5 months, roughly $13,000, $14,000. That's fuel maintenance on the fleet, accounted in. So I think strategically, it's a smarter move to build for future. I mean, we gotta have a foundation, we gotta build on what we have. And this is a program it's structured. There's a policy gonna be in place, the same policy that was before, so it can be revoked. There's also, it's controllable. So with the enterprise fleet management, we can watch the miles, we can watch the fuel, we can watch a lot of the usage that's happening, the maintenance. So I can see all that information, real time of what we're spending. And it gives us a kind of an idea of where we're going. And one of the things that was brought up was the IRS, and I looked into that. So in 1984, there was Congress passed a Deficit Reduction Act of 1984, and it was signed by Ronald Reagan. And what it was to basically waive any kind of IRS fees on police take-home cars, because they saw the need for it, they saw it as a tool. So it's been around for 50 years, this program has, and it's all across the country. This is nothing new. Even the IRS has filed bills that waive the law enforcement tax on it, so there is no tax or anything that they had to pay. And like I said, it gives us some structure going forward.
More retention.
Correct. And if you look at a police car, it's a tool. I mean, everything that the officer uses is in that car. Unlike you go to an office and that's where your stuff is, that's not the case in a police car. You go to your office to your car, and you're expected to be on patrol. And so everything you own or have as a tool is in that car.
Now, for other police stations, there has to be an agreement between you and that.
Correct. It'll be a sign-off between the chief or whoever is over that agency.
And that it's also secure, not
Correct.
just, the
Yes,
front
sir.
parking lot that is accessible by anybody.
Yes, that's correct.
And just so everybody understands, if you look at the wording of this would apply to city policy. So this would be a 30-mile radius for all departments. This would-
If they have take-home vehicles.
Correct, if they do. Except for the library, we'll give them what they want.
Okay, Jeremy.
Just kidding.
I've got a question, but I guarantee you're probably gonna turn around and say, Captain Trammell, can you answer that? So what are we currently paying for fuel right now?
$2 and a little under $2 a gallon, or a little over $2 a gallon.
And that was because of the last, is it billed per time they fill the tank?
Correct. So when they fill it, and even so gas prices, with the things going on, you look at that to fluctuate. That's gonna go up, that's gonna go down. So we were based at 270 when we put the policy or the budget in place. I think it was like 270 something a gallon. So it came down quite a bit. So it less than buffer, but you do look at that, and that's where the revision comes in as far as being able to keep an eye on it, see what gas prices do, because they may go up and then they'll fall back down. I mean, we know how that goes with anything.
But the city paid how much last time?
If I recall,
$2.10.
there's I think I could be wrong, but if I remember right, it's in there, the invoice from Agrifab was $2.04 per gallon at the last fill. And then there was one fill from CNR I believe for the street department, where it was actually below $2. It was like $1.98. And I circle that's why I circle those when we look at them, so that stands out. But the thing to remember with Agrifab is we are going to be 40 cents less than wholesale is the agreement that we have with them. So whatever wholesale price is at the refinery, we're going to be 40 cents less than that. So.
Well, I was waiting for you to do it, but you haven't done it, so I'm gonna pull it out of you. When we decided under your recommendation to park these cars, it was because of a financial situation. Now, under your recommendation, you want to give them back, and we appear to have more money now than we had when we took them away. So I'm for that, and what you and I discussed is do this in June, review it and see where our money's at on it. If we come out good, bad on the gas or whatever else, and see where we're at, but at least do it right now and go to June and see how we are.
Correct. I mean, and I'm okay reviewing it whenever. I mean, that's something I'm going to be reviewing anyway as we go along. I mean, obviously, you want to give it a little leeway so you can really get apples to apples comparison on it.
But if we do that, we need to do it fairly. I mean, I personally have been remiss here. This is definitely a benefit to our officers, but we need to look at this take-home policy as a benefit to the city, because of it does impact recruiting talent and retaining that talent. And I've kind of lost sight of that as over the last few months. I think recruiting is a lot more expensive than $30,000. I
Yeah.
think you've spent a lot more recruiting officers that we've lost over the past several months.
And
Correct.
training.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you lose a valuable, one officer cost, almost that time you put in the uniforms, put in the training.
And I believe whenever we first implemented this, it was to recruit and retain talent.
Correct. Back in, you were one of the ones that.
2017 it was.
Was it
when-
17? Okay.
When Assistant Chief Williard at the time came to Mayor Trammell and I, that was the thing, is we need a recruitment tool. It was also a period where we only had $11,000 in capital and we had $60,000 in capital and needed 11 cars. And so that's where we started the lease programs, and we started some of those changes that were outside of the normal tradition. But this was one that we brought in to help with keep the recruitment costs down, as well as I don't know what to say to not sound obnoxious with it, but the time that's wasted between parking your personal car, getting yourself ready, getting clocked in and there. And I know that now we've got a lot of different management changes that have taken place with Chief Cantrell, but those were some of the things at the time that were really plaguing our payroll. So,
I guess to Bruce's point, I'm okay with you coming back in June saying this is what it's cost us.
Correct, yeah, I don't mind.
But I'd also like to see a number saying this is how much it costs to recruit, train, and I'm assuming it costs us to send someone to Cleat,
That's
I think we need to see that number as well for comparison purposes.
Correct.
And then we should be able to project, would be March, April, May, June, that you have a 4-month window there that we should be able to easily project on, so.
Yep.
Well, I've already said I'm for doing it. I'll vote for it. But the argument, it just eats me up, you made it a while ago, it will not save anything. Every law enforcement agency in this county has got take-home cars and vacancies. So the old deal of having a take-home car and people not quit is not gonna work. It will not hurt us. It'll be maybe an advantage somewhere, but the old deal of it, if we don't have take-home cars, you're gonna quit. Police departments throughout the country is running through this right now.
Yeah, there's no guarantee on anything. I mean, you could give them
It's no guarantee they're gonna stay.
20% pay raise and you're gonna lose people, so.
But
that's
it
just-
won't hurt anything.
Correct.
Jeremy, when did we do this? When did we take them away? Was it
I can't
25
remember.
or 24?
I think it was in 24.
It's been about a year probably.
No,
It's not
A
been,
little lower.
I think it was last December.
It was 25, wasn't it?
25,
It was 25.
Wait,
Beginning of 25.
I was gonna say, it was at the tail end.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was around December.
That's whatever you were.
so a little over a year.
So are you wanting to do this by a certain date in June, Charles and Bruce, or?
Hey, that was
Do
him.
we
I
have
don't
a-
care. I personally, I don't care if we do it or not. I'm just.
Okay,
trying to-
all right.
Bruce-
Because, I mean, we need to set a date of
Yeah,
when
we need
it's
to
gonna
set a
be
date,
reviewed.
review see how we are, pick a date. I don't
We can do the last council meeting in June.
That's
That's
what
gonna
I
be.
would suggest.
That'd be fine.
And then we can come in.
That gets us right at the end of the year.
Correct. So that's fine.
I can tell you, I talked to a Muskogee officer. They're giving them $10,000 just to come in, and they can't get people to come in.
Oh, yeah. It's rough. We got,
Told him, man.
our department, we got a lot of new guys. So we had a supervisor meeting today. It went really well. I mean, I'm gonna lean heavily on the people that are here. They're the backbone. They're gonna train these new guys. I mean, we got a lot of new officers that need a lot of training, so.
Well, and just to be clear, if a car is being abused, not kept to standard, not secured, et cetera, you can pull that.
Correct. And those standards are gonna be kept. I mean, that was one of the discussions today as far as keeping standards, inspections of equipment. And that's we spent a lot of money since '23 on equipment, and that equipment's got to last.
Well, and we had talked about, when we were putting this agenda item together, the reason we went specifically with the department parking lot to the address that the city clerk has on file is because it needed to be specific. And if you're going, to the east, but you work at the street department, that's on that side of town. So we wanted to just say from that department to your house, that's what that standard would be. And so we need to make sure if we do this, that all of the employees that are going to take those home have accurate addresses on file. And if they have a PO box, we need a 911 address.
And out of all my employees, only one had a PO box. I went through Paylocity and did all this. I did it myself. I went through everybody's stuff on Paylocity, which was awesome having that access. Because I can go to their address, put it in Google Maps, pull it from the PD, and I get the odometer road miles, so.
And again, we have the option with Enterprise, and I saw you had emailed about that. We have the option with Enterprise to get devices installed in the vehicles that'll tell us how they're being driven, where they're going. And so if it becomes a situation where we feel like it might be abused, those are things that minimal cost, we can have them throw on these new vehicles.
Well, they already have that with GeoSafe. They know how
Right.
fast you're driving and things like that.
So, okay,
If you turn it on.
all right. Any further questions?
Policy already. Have it
Call for the vote.
in that car.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire.
Yes,
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Trammell.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
I got some new Pryor stickers we can put on them all.
We'll give them to Trammell.
There you go. All right, item G, discussion and possible action to approve Infrastructure Solutions Group to go out for bids for 2025, 2026 street improvement projects, plural. There are a lot of them, Dale. Invite you up here. We have a motion from Brashears,
Second.
second from Brown. We took a look at the list that you guys had provided earlier in the year, or the beginning of the fiscal year, in regards to some of the projects and things that we need to do. Talking with Buddy, talking with Dale, talking with some of you, we kind of looked at prioritizing some of those. We do have some projects that we've got to bump to the front of the list in terms of safety and accessibility. But we're going to try to get a lot of these done and move forward. And so what we've done is we took the amount of money that we had in that street and drainage budget and the street maintenance budget and the sidewalks budget. We kind of broke these down where we're going to put those. But there's quite a bit of projects, so I'm going to let Dale kind of go through, and then I'll let Terry, you're the chair of that board, so if you have any comments on that, you want to go, and then we'll go from there.
You want me to?
Sure, Terry, why don't you?
Okay. First of all, thank you all for putting in a wish list of, we asked you to do earlier. There's some of this that's going to be broke up by the street department, and some of it but what you're going to see that they're going to do, but some of it's going to go out for a contract and outsource it. What you're going to see on this map and in your packet is the outsourced things that we want to go out for bid to have a contractor do. And I don't know if you have, what documents you have, but this big one, that's the color-coded map.
They're page 136 and down in the agenda packet.
It's color-coded there in red of what projects are going to be, we want to outsource. But on the left-hand side, as you see it, you can see there an estimated cost of the Cemetery Hill retaining wall. If you have any questions about any of these, I'll elaborate, but we've talked about that in the past. Cemetery Hill retaining wall has fallen apart. The estimated engineering cost over there is on the right-hand side of that. Dog Pound Road is from 3rd Street to 9th Street is on the list, and that one is going to have to be redone completely from the base and everything. 14th Street, just west of Elliott Street, is bad. Buddy's already done some preliminary base work to get ready for a contractor to do that. Jackson Street, the one-block street from 9th to 8th is in really bad shape, and that one's going to be redone. The alleys behind the jail from the old City Hall going north to 1st Street behind the city jail, or the county jail, that's on that list. Little short one block or half a block alley that comes out of the old Graham Memorial Auditorium parking lot that goes southbound to 1st Street is on there. The road up at the animal shelter, the driveway road going into there is on there. What is not on here, but we've talked about and Dale has added that to his documentation, is a little bit of the alley that was not done south of 1st Street, running from Okie Dokie to Arvest Bank. Part of that was left out of a couple years' project, so that one's on there as an alley. And then there's the Brookfield Terrace drainage improvements, which is down in the Raret neighborhood there, that's on there, and as you see the estimated cost of that one there. And then there's just numerous sidewalks. The big one that's got to be contracted out is a sidewalk from about Peach Drive-In to the east on the north side of the street there.
Is that through Aura?
Yeah, it's from Aura to past Orphan Street. That is in really bad shape. It's kind of cockeyed, and it's got tree growing up that's pushing the roots up, and it's a dangerous sidewalk. But there's also drainage in there and some utilities in there that's going to be adjusted for that. And then the Park Street improvement on the north side. Is it the eastbound, or it'd be the east and westbound lane? The westbound lane on Park Street through the park where it's concrete is in really bad shape compared to the other part of the street, and that's on there, and Dale can elaborate on that more. And then Lock Street drainage alley improvements. All these are in the packet. That Lock Street one, it's pretty flat through there, and we had some major complaints from some citizens about that, and at least one citizen came up here and complained about it one time at a council meeting, if I remember correctly. It was a former councilman. And so that's on the list too. And did I cover it all?
There's one that you didn't get ready, the one.
Yes, Bailey Street.
This was talked about, let me real quick, sorry, Terry. We talked about this one in the street meeting as a last minute addition, and Dale sent me the other days that he just hadn't, with trying to get this finalized, hadn't got to that yet, so.
Several years ago, the city had a plan to buy up some properties along Bailey Street to put in some retention ponds to eliminate problems in that area. The city did buy those properties up during the time that I've been in office. This is just on the west side of Bailey, just west of Shipman Funeral Home, and just south of Highway, or just north of Highway 20. There's a creek that runs through there. The creek is pretty much plugged. There's a lot of fallen trees and vegetation in that creek that slows down the flow of that water. And we looked at that and asked Dale to go in there and come up with a plan to have a contractor clean all that out and then possibly do something to change the little flow of the water back through there. It goes right behind people's houses and in between houses. And Dale was gonna work on a plan for that to do and come up with an estimated cost, but he's got a little hiccup on that he'll wanna probably talk about.
Well, my concerns is
Yes.
the water that's coming between the houses, it has to turn to 90 degrees to get out to the north side of Highway 20. I'm concerned if we speed the water up, channelize it, and bring it out, it's gonna jump the road. I just want to do a lot more. I want to do more investigation before I come up with a plan. So I
Now-
have a little bit more time.
I know when we talked about that in the meeting, we talked about maybe moving a berm and doing some things to channel that water, but would it still be a detriment to at least clean the dead trees that have fallen down?
Make it run fast.
I would not increase the velocity
Okay.
at all right now.
Okay, all right. So anyway, that one's gonna be on hold. There'll be more to come on that. But as you see in the packet, there's a lot there. Keep in mind, everybody had a big wish list. We're only got a little bit of money at a time, and we can put stuff on for next year. But I also forgot and left off Clayton Road. That's not on here, is it?
Yeah, it's on here.
That's not on here.
No,
Yeah.
because Clayton is one where Buddy's gone in and done all the base repair.
And the county's gonna come do that one.
We'll have to sign another agreement with
Okay.
that. I'd like to, just on that note, real quick, I'd like to get to the point where we don't have to keep putting that agreement on the council. If we're gonna do it, street committee says, yeah, let's sign it and do. So at some point, if we could just work towards a resolution that allows that to happen. But one of the things with that Bailey project that we talked about was the sidewalk project there on Northeast First has a large tree in the way. And a lot of the work that needs to be done in that Bailey is to clean out the trees or trim the trees down out of the power lines. And so we were gonna try to do two birds with one stone there and have somebody come and trim up the trees, and then literally it's 50 feet around the corner, take out that large tree. So,
Yes.
it's kind of a little bit of thought went into trying to do that, so.
So everything is in this packet that you have tonight, except the addition of that little stretch of the alley that we talked about. And he's got more information on that tonight, and then we want to put off the Bailey Street till later on. That's why it's not on here tonight. So this is a recommendation from the street committee. There's the estimated cost, and again, we don't know what it's actually going to cost until you get the bids in. But the street committee talked about this at length, and we would like to recommend to the council to approve Infrastructure Solutions to go out and finalize all the packets and everything to go out, authorize them to work on getting bids out to start these projects. Now, keep in mind, it's the 1st of March now. A lot of the projects we did last year kind of went into the end of the fiscal year and had to start after it. And we would like to get the ball rolling in this now, since it's going to be a couple-month process probably to get it done. And that way we can be on track to have this stuff done before the end of the fiscal year. So.
All right, it's a lot of work. It's going to be about.
One more point, the Dog Pound Road, this is for the base to get it prepared for the asphalt. This does not include the asphalt on Dog Pound Road.
Yes, that's important.
And then how would that come about on the actual asphalt? Is that
That'll
a
probably be another county
is that a
agreement.
project? Okay.
We try to keep that, just so everybody understands, we try to keep that county agreement to roads that we share with the county. I don't want to get them in town doing all our little stuff unless it's something where they're just gung-ho. But we have talked with the company that has done the asphalt work, and they're willing to talk to us about pricing on some of those in-town things. Unfortunately, we still have to go out for bid on those, but we know that we have that price available to us at $7 a ton. What we use the county really for, just so clarification, the company that the county uses is Done Right, and they're giving us $7 a ton to lay it down, which is phenomenally cheap. Dale, what's an average lay down on that?
I get bids within $100 a ton to 160.
100 to 160 a ton, and we're getting it for $7 a ton.
Plus the asphalt.
So that's really in the best interest of the city to do that. We know they do good work. They did the Highway 20 deal, the old Highway 20. That said, we want to make sure that we take care of that relationship with the county. So there will be opportunities for us to return favors down the road where we can, but.
Oh, Mayor, I do have one more thing to add. It's not on here. And you've heard me harp on this a lot, especially at that other meeting. Van Street and Third.
Van and Third is one
That
that.
to be done by the street
City,
department?
that'll be done by the street department.
Okay.
Yep. That's pretty rough, but. Yeah. There's a lot of work going on here. We had a lot of funds left over from last year that rolled over, and so we're gonna break these down into, like I said, those three categories. Sidewalks, drainage, and street maintenance. So when you break it down that way, that still is gonna leave some funds in each of those accounts at the end of the year.
I also left out one last thing, and the people in this town has been harping about this for decades, but we're gonna try to fix it. And that
Dip?
is that dip at Kauai.
What dip? There's no dip at Kauai.
First and Kauai.
Well, the dip there and the dip on Northeast Graham Court.
That's a
Yes.
speed bump.
So-
That's not a dip.
All right. Any further comments?
Grief, sir.
Dale, did you have anything to add to all that?
No, I don't.
It's a lot.
You did a good
We
job.
appreciate your work.
Go fast enough on that note, you'll just.
Yeah.
Just jump right across.
Yeah.
All right. If that's it, then we'll come back next council meeting or so. We should be prepared to discuss Bailey, but we'll call for the vote now to move forward with these projects.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Shropshire,
Yes?
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Dale.
Thank you. Thanks, council.
Have a safe drive home. All right. Item 6, the city attorney's report. Third and final reading of ordinance 2026-1, an ordinance of the city of Pryor Creek, Oklahoma, granting non-exclusive permit to Clarity Telecom LLC, DBA Blue Peak, for the construction and operation of a cable system.
Motion.
We have a motion from Choya and did you have one, Bradshaw?
Yes, I did.
We'll give it.
Waive
can I
the
give it to
reading.
Bradshaw. We like to give her one.
I'm just,
Try to-
Second from Bradshaw.
And waive the reading.
Waive the reading. I want to be very clear, the changes that were made on this. Unfortunately, when we had the meeting, and I'll be very transparent, and Chase was transparent, scheduled to be, Chase had an emergency that he had to go to, but he was fully involved in the meeting, fully aware, and brought up to date, and it was just Blue Peak, me, Matt Burke, who is their legal counsel, and then I brought Chase up to speed on the end. But we did take out any reference to auto renewal. Our city says that we can do a 25-year, so the 20-year request fits in that. So we went for a 20-year term with them. And then we also went to remove anything that gives any inclination of a free anything from them. So that's been completely removed. And those, I believe, were all the requests that we had from the council. So that said, everything else is the same.
So it went from a 10-year
To 20.
to a 20.
10-year was the recommended when they did it. 25 is what we're allowed to go to. So we took it, they had requested a 20, said we'd at least like to go 20. They are looking at over a $10 million investment just in the installation. So I get it. It makes sense. So. All right.
Well, what have we done for everyone else?
Some of the others were 20 and 25. So we do have some, again, that I think we need to be aware are operating very, very close to our city limits and in our city limits without the franchise agreements in place. So again, they're doing it right. This is protecting what's ours and putting them on the same terms. And they've been very, very, very willing to work with what we've requested, so.
Yeah, I was just making sure we treat everyone the same, basically. that we're not
Oh, yeah, this is-
Preferential treatment.
Wouldn't you agree, Chase? This is right down the line.
Definitely wouldn't call it preferential treatment, for sure.
Okay. All right. Call for the vote.
Lamar,
No.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Thank you. Committee reports, budget and personnel,
10th.
the 10th? Okay. Street and maintenance, we just had one. When's the next one?
The 24th.
Do we need to bring that Bailey back to that before we bring it back to the next council, or do you?
Yes.
You would like that?
Yes.
Okay. So that probably will not be on the next council agenda. Ordinance and insurance,
Sometime this month.
I think it was the
March
30th,
31st. is-
31st.
31st is what he had
31st, I
said
need
last
to
time.
get that calendar.
All right. Unforeseeable
Do we
business?
have an addendum?
Addendum.
Oh.
Addendum?
Yeah, well, let's do the addendum. Holy cow.
Good Lord, Chase.
All right, discussion and possible action to, this is the one, fun one. I was trying to, Discussion and possible action to enter executive session pursuant to 25 OS 307B4 regarding a pending claim with city attorney, specifically regarding the grievance filed by the FOP and Kenny Bennett on February 27th, 2026.
Motion.
A motion from Brashears,
I'll second.
second from Choya. We'll call for the vote.
Shropshire,
Yes.
Bradshaw,
Yes.
Rushiers,
Yes.
Trammell,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Lamar,
Yes.
Wait. Okay. Item 2, consider resuming regular session. No action taken during executive session.
Motion.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Give him a second.
Watch this.
You're on.
All right, with that,
Yes.
we were ready to adjourn.
You don't know what the motion.
Smith?
I don't care.
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Did you get Smith?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Item 3, possible action based on executive session pursuant to 25-307B4 regarding a pending claim with city attorney, specifically regarding the grievance filed by the Fraternal Order of Police and Kenny Bennett on February 27th, 2026.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we affirm Chief Cantrell's course of action concerning the grievance filed by Kenny Bennett on February 27th, 2026.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and second. Call for the vote.
Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I have a motion from Brown, and a second from Brashears, and you can call for that vote when you're ready.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Okay. We'll go ahead and call to order the Pryor Public Works Authority. I need item 2, approve minutes of the February 17th, 2026 meeting.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Choya and a second from Brashears. You can call for the vote.
Brown?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Approve claims for purchase orders for the Pryor Public Works Authority through March 3rd, 2026.
Motion.
Second.
A motion from Choya and a second from Kenneth. Call for the vote when you're ready.
Smith?
Yes.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion- Motion from Kenneth and a second from Choya. You can call for the vote when you're ready.
Lamar?
Yes.
Shropshire?
Yes.
Bradshaw? Yes. Rushiers?
Yes.
Trammell?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
We're adjourned.